This is Talkin Hoopz, the show that discusses real NBA stories, gives you all the latest rumors, and gets you into heated debates.
It's dunks and layups. How many of his points have been jump shots? 0.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
0.
It's not happening. Not in this NBA. Maybe in the fantasy NBA that they're playing in, but not in this NBA.
We're going to challenge each other in practice.
We talking about practice, not a game.
Once the game starts, I mean, it's going to be easy.
You better get off whatever you're smoking.
Strap in, get your popcorn, put your headphones on.
This is Talkin Hoopz.
It's really good to checking out Talkin Hoopz.
Talkin Hoopz.
Talkin Hoopz, the official talk show of NBRPA Miami.
Talkin Hoopz starts right now.
Talkin Hoopz. TalkinHoops.com. AJ, Kyle with you for the hour. A lot going on in the world of basketball as always. We got a great show tonight. The NBA schedules have been released. That's pretty big. Get to talk about some exciting games later on in the show, maybe 15 minutes or so. Assistant GM Harold Ellis of the Orlando Magic will be joining us. Gonna ask him a bunch of questions. A lot of good stuff, man. But Kyle, as we always like to do, how was your weekend, man?
Weekend was good. Everything was good. No complaints, thank God. I'm excited about these NBA games, though. Everybody was waiting for it. They got released today about an hour ago. So I'm really looking forward to it. Lakers, Heat, and Knicks looks like they are tied for the most nationally televised games with 25. So it's going to be good. Everybody's waiting, man. You know, you got camps opening up soon, so right. Everybody's waiting. Everybody's prepared.
You can almost smell the NBA season right around the corner, you know? You could just sense it's here. It's there. My spidey senses are tingling.
Yo, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Basketball is like the only sport that something is happening every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The season ends, and then all of a sudden you got the build up to the draft,
right.
And then free agency begins, and we know how NBA free agency goes. People getting traded, people getting amnestied,
right?
Guys are signing here, there. Coaches are getting traded. Doc Rivers gets traded.
Yeah.
Then you got the summer league, and it rolls into the season is now released, and then it's going to be into camps. So
right.
It's always something new, always exciting in the NBA. So I'm ready. I'm strapped in. I'm set.
You're always strapped in, and that's
I'm
important.
always strapped in, babe.
Also, we can't forget who's strapped in with us every show. Mark Strickland. He's not here tonight. Former NBA player, former player for the Miami Heat. He is actually at the premiere event of his wife's new show coming out. It's called what's it called? It's like the Miami what is it? Hot Listings Miami. That's it. It's a new show on Style TV. It's coming out really soon. Really soon. And tonight's the premiere, but I think the show's going to start at a different date. I think tonight they're just, having the party or whatever. So he's there hanging out with his wife, doing all that good stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm a little jealous actually. I wish I was in Miami right now. Man.
They need to come here and do a Brooklyn listing and get me a new place in Brooklyn because I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and we can't forget our partners, NBRPA Miami, NBRPAMiami.com. Check them out. But getting into basketball. So, dude, Brandon Jennings, now a member of the Detroit Pistons. That was pretty big.
Yeah, that was big. The Detroit Pistons.
It's out of nowhere. All of a sudden, Brandon Jennings, where's he going? Oh, nope, he's being traded to the Pistons.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like at all what Detroit was doing in the offseason to begin.
Yeah.
Now I look at Detroit's team, and I see them as a legit Eastern Conference playoff team, 7-8 seed. Josh Smith, they bring him in, obviously one of the better power forwards in the league. Chauncey Billups comes back. That can't be understated because of his locker room presence, his ties to the franchise. He's just going to be able to show guys how things are done. He's won a championship there. And you also have now Brandon Jennings, like you just mentioned. I think, this is his time now to step up and take the next step in his career and really advance his game.
Yeah.
And Greg Monroe and Andre Drummond are two of the best big men in the league.
Oh, so underrated. So underrated. Look.
Both of them are so good.
You and I have talked, Mark Strickland, all of it. We've had the discussion about the Pistons. And look, are they there yet? No. But with the addition of Brandon Jennings from the last time we talked about this team, and you throw him into the mix, like you said, with Drummond and Monroe, this team, you know what? I think it's going to surprise some people now. I really do. They're definitely more explosive adding this guy. So, I think that's going to be pretty big.
Yeah, and you look at Joe Dumar's comments a few weeks ago. He said that this team is probably going to be a positionless team because you're looking at a front court, maybe the best young front court in the league. If you have Monroe at starting 5 and put Drummond at the 4 and then Josh Smith at the 3, that's ridiculous.
Right.
It's insane to even think of that. And then you got Brandon Jennings there and Chauncey Billups. I really, really like this team. The Eastern Conference bottom half, we know that the 6, 7, 8 seeds, they're not any good. The Bucks were in the playoffs last year. They're not going to be in the playoffs because they suck now, so that's an open spot. Boston was in the playoffs last year. They're not going to be in the playoffs because they suck now. Both of those teams are in full rebuilding mode. Yeah, so that's 2 slots open in the East. I fully expect one of them to go to Detroit.
Yeah, and, it's funny. We bring up the Pistons making some new acquisitions. A lot of other teams around the league have made new acquisitions, and I think that, this year, we talked about the NBA schedule. You look at the Lakers, a team that really lost pretty much anything good going for them. They lost it, and they're appearing on how many appearances? We got 25 national TV appearances for the Los Angeles Lakers?
25.
That's a lot. And, I think teams like Detroit, now that they've rebuilt, They've got some talent. They should be showcased a lot more. You don't see them appearing on 25 games this season.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a really good point. In that, I don't know. All right, the NBA is in the money game, obviously, and the Lakers are a big money ticket. But at the same time, you got to realize that the Lakers with Dwight Howard last year were only good enough for the 8th seed.
Yeah.
So why are they now, when they lose Dwight Howard, getting 25 games?
Right.
When they didn't make any adjustments other than losing somebody.
Nothing.
So there are some other teams, like we just talked about, Detroit, and I'm sorry, I said the Lakers were the 8th seed. They were actually the 7th seed, and the Rockets were the 8th seed.
Yeah,
but
barely, though. Barely. All right? Barely. It was one game.
They finished with the same record.
Right.
They finished with the same record. And they had the tiebreaker, so they were the 7th seed. But still, they lose their their second best player,
right?
And they get 25 games. But if you ask me, who's a NBA fan, who would I rather see next year in more games? I'm actually going to say Detroit.
Exactly,
because they're young and they're exciting, and I already know what the Lakers have. They have a 39-year-old point guard in Steve Nash.
Right.
They have a 38-year-old Kobe Bryant. However old he is, coming off of an injury.
Right.
They have this team that's not really interesting anymore. They're not.
No,
They're
not at all.
compete.
Not at all. And, like when you talk about the young talent in Detroit, it's just more appealing to watch. And I'm just surprised that teams like this did not get more, I guess, airtime for television. I just think it's ridiculous that only the local, you got to get the NBA package in order to watch the Detroit Pistons if you don't live in Detroit. And that's ridiculous, especially now that they acquire Brandon Jennings. This team is totally different. Obviously they're not the Detroit Pistons back when they won a championship, but they do have Chauncey Billups, okay? Right. He is back with the team. There's some exciting things to look out for the Pistons, and I'm just surprised that this team, now that's the big issue. That's really going to be the issue this NBA season, I think, is what teams are being aired where. I don't know who put together the schedule, but they may want to rethink some things, especially what can go down during the season. What if the Pistons turn out to be a really solid team? And I'm not saying that they make the playoffs, but at the same time, if they fight for that last spot in the East or something, or they get in, I mean, that's a team that should have been on television a lot more. So I don't know.
Yeah, and they are. I fully expect the Lakers to compete for a playoff spot.
Right.
But they're just not interesting, and that's what it comes down to for an NBA fan. If you're scrolling through the games and you're putting on TNT and you got, the Lakers who have a game, or the Pistons, and the Pistons are younger and more athletic, I want to see the Pistons just because they'd be more fun to watch.
Right.
But there's a lot of good games. Opening night is the Heat and the Bulls. There's actually 3 games. There's the Heat and the Bulls, the Magic and the Pacers, and the Lakers and the Clippers.
Right.
The Magic and the Bulls and the Heat game is going to be crazy because this is the first game in over a year, or first meaningful game in over a year for Derrick Rose. So he makes his return, and if it's one team that can beat the Heat in a 7-game series, Chicago has to be at the top of your list in the Eastern Conference.
Well, the Pacers, I think, could beat them, too. I got news. But actually, it looks like our guest is joining us now. It sounds like we have standing by with us assistant GM for the Orlando Magic, Harold Ellis. Harold, welcome to Talkin Hoopz, man.
Hey, how's it going?
All right, it's going pretty well.
I got to correct that. I'm director of our pro-player personnel. I don't want our assistant GM.
Okay.
Get mad.
Okay, all right.
Hey, man, we're promoting you on the show. We're giving you that promotion.
Yep.
Right.
But, so, okay, a lot going on with the Orlando Magic this season. Really in rebuild mode, obviously, after the Dwight Howard trade. I really wanted to ask you. So, everyone said the Magic got the worst part of that whole trade with Dwight Howard. Meanwhile,
absolutely.
All right. Meanwhile, Andrew Bynum not with the Sixers, Dwight Howard not with the Lakers, Andre Iguodala not with the Nuggets, and you guys got a bunch of young talent that's still on your squad. You guys look pretty good. Your future looks pretty bright.
You know what? I think we did a great job. A lot of people don't realize that we really came out of that trade. We took Victor Oladipo. We got Harkless in that trade. And right now, I think we look great. We're on the great side of the trade because, as you said, all those guys are gone, but we got good young pieces and we got some nice assets, and not to mention our first-round picks we got for next year.
Right.
So, I mean, but it's a credit to our – and we have an awesome young GM, Rob Hennigan. I mean, he's great. And, I mean, he had this vision for us going forward, and we're kind of like just on his bus enjoying the ride.
Now, you mentioned Oladipo. Obviously, a lot of teams were very high on him. You guys got lucky there. Number two, there was some speculation that he may be the number 1 overall pick. A lot of people have compared his game to Dwayne Wade. From what you've seen of him and what you know of him, is that a fair assessment? Does he have similar attributes to Wade, or do you think he's sort of a different player?
You know what? At first sight, VO, right off the bat, he'll be able to play in our league on the defensive side of the ball. And I can say that's part of Wade, but offensively, he has a lot of bounce. Maybe a young Wade, because he has a lot of bounce in his step. He can score it, he can handle it. Now, I can't say it's Dwayne Wade yet because, I mean, you're talking about a future Hall of Fame guy, and you're talking about a guy that can really score the ball. But right at first sight, Vito can be special, and I gotta say that we love him. I mean, he does something that we just couldn't do last year. He can get to the basket, and that's what he does like Dwayne Wade. He gets to the basket, he finishes at the rim like a young Wade used to. So that's what we're happy about. So we can use right now a young Wade, but I'm gonna tell you, I heard somebody say Michael Jordan in the same breath with him. This guy works, and he could get to some of that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And now, another young player you add last season at the deadline for J.J. Redick, Tobias Harris. A lot of potential with him, and I'm surprised. You guys, I'm surprised you got him because the Bucks, they already traded J.J. They let him go free agency. They really didn't get anything back in return in that deal now, and you guys steal another really great young talent. I mean, what's your prediction for this guy this coming season?
Let me tell you, that's where I kind of came in at, we watched this guy through preseason, we watched him during the regular season, and Tobias has been unbelievable. And this is just what you guys see. He might be our hardest working guy. He's in the gym all the time, and all the stuff that we heard about him, it was true. Like, you have to push him out the gym. He wants to get better. He wants to be, he wants to be the best player in the NBA. And, we can look and say, hey, that's a crazy saying, but that's what he wants to be. He works hard, and all he needed was an opportunity to play. And he got to us, and Coach Vaughn did a great job in getting him right into the offense. And believe it or not, down the last, 10 or 15 games, he carried us in scoring. I mean, this guy can play. I don't know what his ceiling is, but he could be a starter in this league.
Yeah.
The Magic have such a very good, but the only thing is that your team is so young. There's so much room for experience and growth, and the fans they're not going to – I hope that the fans can appreciate what you guys are building out there, because between the Magic and the Pistons, I think those are the two teams on the rise in the East. And with the Celtics now, who made the playoffs last year, they're in rebuilding mode, so that playoff spot becomes available. Same thing with the Bucks. Looks like they dumped a whole bunch of players. That's a playoff spot that becomes available. You're looking at two potential Eastern Conference playoff spots that the Pistons, the Cavs, and the Magic, I think, are realistic in taking. What are your feelings for the season coming in terms of making those playoffs?
You know what? We want to kind of take the slow build. We don't want to really peak too early. We understand that we're young. We understand we got talent. We understand that we might even. I think we catch Atlanta. It's a great chance we catch Atlanta. But we also want it to be a slow process as far as developing our young guys. We're not, it's not, if we don't make the playoffs next year, it's not a loss for us. We just want to get better every year. And I think Rob, he's doing a great job at building, and we're all working towards just building the team. We're not saying, hey, it's playoffs or die. We want to build a team where when we do make the playoffs, we're in the playoffs year in and year out, and that's what we're trying to do. And hopefully the fans will stay with us and back us on these situations. But they understand, look, the ownership has been great. Alex Marks, he's been great. Everybody's just been great about the whole process of rebuilding this team, and I think we're going in the right direction.
Now, talk a little bit about the veterans, Jameer Nelson, Big Baby. Do they expect big roles on this team? I mean, are you looking still to add more veterans? Because you do have a lot of young players. What's the goal here in that sense?
Well, one thing, we got some solid veterans. We got Aaron Afalo, we got Jameer Nelson, and we got Big Baby. For one thing, all those guys right now we count on as being leaders. And Aaron and Jameer have been awesome. Of course, Big Baby's coming off surgery, by the way. He's working out every day. He's back walking around, so that's great with him. But Jameer and Aaron, they really have embraced being the older guys. And I had Aaron as a young guy in Detroit, but they've embraced being the veteran guys. And I have to say this again, man, our management group put together some solid veterans. They're not selfish veterans. They're veterans that get it, and they understand what the young guys are about. And one thing I can say, Aaron Afalo, when we drafted Victor Oladipo, Aaron Afalo was the first guy to give him a call. Jameer Nelson was the first guy to talk to Tobias when we traded. So those guys have been great. Glenn, one thing about Baby, he talked to I drafted rookie Ozzy. He was one of the first guys to give him a call. So we're happy with those guys. Those are really solid veterans.
And now the situation with Hedo Turkoglu, I'm sure, there's been a lot of rumors that he may be bought out, or there may be some type of workout where Hedo Turkoglu can be shed off the books. That would be more money. And I think Aaron Aflalo is one of the most underrated players in the league, to be honest. I loved him in Denver. I think he's a really great fit for your team. I wanted to say the schedules got released today, though. They got released about an hour ago. Have you gotten a chance to see who Orlando has coming up?
You know what? I have not had a chance to look at the schedule. It did get released today. I have not had a chance to look at it. But piggybacking on what you said about Aaron Aflalo, I mean, he's solid. He's solid, and I think going forward, there's a lot of rumors circulating with Aaron. Man, we love Aaron. So we view Aaron as almost a core player with us. So it would have to be something crazy for us to even part ways with Aaron. We love Aaron. We loved it.
Yeah. And we do too. We speak about him pretty often on the show. Whenever we talk about the Magic, Aaron Aflalo gets brought up because, again, I really truly believe he's very underrated in the league. Nobody talks about him really.
Well, trade speculation. He has been in trade speculation, at one point, especially for Eric Bledsoe. That was potential. But there are a lot of teams like Aaron Aflalo. He's definitely not a nobody, and he's very underrated.
I have to say this, everybody called for him, but we stood tight. I mean, Aaron Aflalo, he's one of our leaders, one of our better players. I mean, and I got to say this, guys, about Aaron. He's an even better person than he is basketball player. And that's kind of all I have to say about Aaron. I mean, everybody called for him. And if I was another team, I would have called for him also. But, I mean, we love Aaron.
All right. And you haven't gotten a chance to look at the schedule. I want to just
I have not had a chance to look at the schedule yet. I have not. I'm actually out coaching Little League football tonight. So I've not had a chance to, Pop Warner. So that's the Dr. Phillips Panthers, Pop Warner here. So I have not had a chance to look at the schedule. Do you have it in front of you?
Yeah. I actually wanted to tell you, Orlando has the first game of the season even before the Heat. Orlando is visiting Indiana, which is sort of fun because Oladipo, obviously, as you know, played for Indiana. So it'll be the Magic and the Pacers at 7, followed by the Bulls and the Heat at 8.
Well, hey, this is just a preview of what is coming to be the NBA's future. Look, we want primetime games. We think we have a primetime rookie in VO, and we got some other guys to go around him. And we're looking forward to it. I didn't realize we had the first game, but that's impressive. Maybe somebody in the NBA realized that we got a special guy with us.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we were just talking about that actually right before you joined the show. That the Lakers have 25 nationally televised games,
which is insane.
Are you serious?
It's ridiculous. It's honestly, it really is ridiculous when teams, up-and-coming teams, we just talked about the Pistons. They made some trades. They got a lot of young talent. Teams like your Orlando Magic, these guys, it's ridiculous that the Lakers are getting this much exposure with the team they have right now. And we could be watching Victor Oladipo. We could be watching Aaron Aflalo. We could be watching Brandon Jennings now in Detroit. It's just ridiculous. It really is.
Right. Well, you know what? The schedule makers, we still got to prove ourselves, and hopefully one day we'll get those games. But one thing I can say, we don't want those games until we're ready to be on primetime TV. And I think that's what we're building. I'm glad that we're where we are because we're up and coming, guys. We're going to be a team that follow. And like you said, Detroit, I have to give credit to Joe Dumars. They've done an outstanding job of Detroit putting that team back together. So that's one of my sleeper teams for the Eastern Conference. He's done a great job there.
Yeah. Now you're coaching football. Have you played football in your life? Are you a football player?
Am I doing what with the football player?
Have you ever played when you were in high school?
I played. I did play football as little league and in high school. My better sport was probably football. I got lucky with basketball because they cut me every year in basketball. That's why I kind of started wanting to play more. But I was probably a better football player, and I definitely love coaching the kids better. In Little League football rather than Little League basketball.
And now I'm guessing this is your son's team, so you're playing dad for the night?
This is my son's team, my son's team.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So in the off season, you're not dealing with the Magic, it's dad time, it's being dad.
It is being dad, and that's one thing, our management group, they're great about that. Look, it's time for us to have downtime. A lot of us spend time with the family. Well, we don't go on vacation. I just go to start coaching Little League football. Then we start back in September, October. Hey, I'm back on the road. So this is the time I get to spend with him. I get to take him the first day of class with school and stuff like that. So that's what's the great part about it. Rob is great. I mean, he asked me today, we were watching video and stuff, and he's like, hey, how's the football team going? I kind of gave him a rundown of how our team is looking this year. So that's the kind of organization we have. We're solid from top to bottom. It's just an amazing group of people, especially management and ownership.
Is there anybody that Magic fans and even NBA fans should look out for that's in the organization that we don't know about yet? Somebody from the Summer League that really impressed you guys? Or somebody
I'm going to tell you this. There's two guys. Deron Lamb, which you guys probably haven't heard a lot about. I know he went to Kentucky and all that. He looked great this summer. Mo Harkless. And we got a rookie that we took with our last pick in the second round, Romero Osby. Just remember, I told you, Deron Lamb going forward. And maybe we'll have a conversation in 2 months. But if he keeps up the work habits that he has and keeps developing, he's a big, strong two guard that can handle the ball. He can play a little point, too. So I'm just giving you a little insight on him. And he's in the gym every day working out. We're already started. So, I mean, our young guys get it.
Yeah. All right. Harold Ellis, Director of the Player Personnel. Director of Player Personnel for the Orlando Magic. We got it that time. Harold Ellis, thank you so much for joining Talkin Hoopz, man. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. And good luck this season.
Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. All right.
Kyle, a lot of good stuff, man. Orlando Magic, gonna be pretty solid this season.
Magic, Pistons, Cavs. I'm looking out for those three teams to compete for the bottom half of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Now, do you want to be in that position? Probably not, because that means you got to play the Heat in the first round, or maybe the Bulls or the Pacers, one of those teams. But that's a step forward.
Yeah.
LeBron and the band aren't going to stay together forever, right? Even if they do, these guys are going to get older. Wade gets hurt. So as long as you're taking those steps forward, these teams have young players.
Right.
They got these guys for 3-4 years from now, They can offer the max extensions to their draft picks, Oladipo, when the time comes, if they deserve it.
Yeah.
So they have the teams in place for the future. As long as you're taking those steps forward,
right?
You never know what can happen.
Definitely. And I'm just excited for Victor Oladipo. I really have him up there as he's my pick for Rookie of the Year. I know a lot of people starting to say C.J. McCollum, but I really think with the play of Damian Lillard, I think that that's kind of that's gonna I think alter that a little bit for CJ. I think he's gonna have to kind of figure out where he fits in when Damian Lillard's on the court or if he's coming off the bench. But my pick is gonna be Victor Oladipo. I'm saying it now. I'm going on the record. Victor Oladipo is my pick for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, look, he's going to have the opportunity. He's going to get a ton of playing time, right? I mean, this is a young team. It's not like he has to sit behind guys and learn or anything like that. He's not going to get buried on the bench. I mean, he's going to be looked at as a contributor. They're going to count on his production. And, I do think that Damian Lillard winning last year, the Rookie of the Year, may hurt CJ's chances. But he's really good. I mean, he had a good summer league, and he was excellent in college when he got hurt. But he was excellent in college. The kid can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, he can play the 1 or the 2. He may be the 6th man. We got to see how they use CJ. They're going to depend on him also, but I think Oladipo is going to be a major contributor on that team. So, yeah, he has as good a chance as anybody to take the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and having Harold on talk about the Magic, I mean, this is what gets me so excited. This is the type of stuff. He really just hyped the Orlando Magic here. This is not a team to fall asleep on. They're going to come out competitive every single night. They got a lot of young talent, as we just talked about. I mean, this is just what gets me excited. Teams that you're going to be rooting for. This is a team, an underdog team you're going to be rooting for in the regular season. I'm really excited. I really, really am.
And the Cavs, I think, are another team that's up there in that Detroit-Orlando team to watch in the East.
Definitely.
Those are my 3 sleeper teams, I guess you can call them, that are poised to make a run, because Kyrie Irving is a top 5 point guard, flat out, I think, right now.
Yeah.
And he has the potential to be the best point guard in the league.
Especially if he stays healthy.
Right. He's had a problem with injury issues for sure in the short amount of time that he's been here. He even got hurt in college. So that's definitely a concern.
Yeah.
But between him and Andrew Bynum, you can't forget that they added Andrew Bynum. He's somebody that people kind of forget about. But they have Andrew Bynum. And Anderson Varejao, he was like an all-star candidate, am I right? I mean,
no, definitely.
Anderson Varejao had a great season last year before he got hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's fun. We talk about Anderson Varejao. He's been with the Cavs for a long time. He was there when the team went to the finals against the Spurs a couple years back. But, it's funny. I used to say I never thought the Cavs would go anywhere with him being the starting power forward at that point in time, and now it's just like, wow, this guy really came full circle. He had a great year until he got injured. Hopefully he's still the same player after that injury. We haven't seen anything of him, so that's going to be interesting.
Now he can sort of slide back into power forward because now that Andrew Bynum is there, now he could sort of play the power forward position. And last year he averaged 14 and 14.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. So you look at their roster.
You even said sleeper team, though. I don't know how much of a sleeper team that team really is. If Bynum's healthy, we know what he could do. Okay, right. we know what he could do. He's had injury problems his whole career. He's got nothing to prove. He's going to be as good as we know he is when he's healthy. Okay? So if he's healthy, you still got Deion Waiters, who had a great season. All right, Kyrie stays healthy. It's all a matter of health. But this team, to me, I think they're in the playoffs. I really do.
Let's not forget about the number 1 pick, Anthony Bennett.
Right. Anthony Bennett. We're sleeping on Anthony Bennett right now. Number 1 pick.
Nobody's sleeping on AB. Anthony Bennett.
I think a lot of people are sleeping on him only because I was so shocked when he got drafted number 1. I think a lot of people were, and it's not because that he couldn't have been the number 1 pick. I think it was just no one expected it. I think someone else was supposed to maybe be there and wasn't. So it was a shock to the world when he went number 1. He was even shocked. He was thrilled, but he was shocked. So, I think the Cavs, they have a nice team. And as long as they're healthy, they have to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't see them not. If anything below that is a bust to me.
And I just want to throw in before we leave the Cavs and never talk about them again, because they sort of fall through the cracks on the show. We don't do much Cavs talk. But Jared Jack, all right?
Jared Jack, that's right. He's with the Cavs now.
In case people were wondering where Jared Jack went, the guy almost won the Sixth Man of the Year. I mean, he was in the running for the Sixth Man of the Year last year, and now he's on the Cavs.
Right.
So... Hey,
a lot of stuff.
Definitely a good chance to make the playoffs.
A lot of stuff. A lot of good stuff happening. It is. Telling you, I'm so pumped for the NBA season. I could just jump out of my seat right now.
Let's get pumped for jump, man.
I might have to, but we gotta go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk more hoops. Some New Orleans Pelicans. That's right, not the Hornets anymore. Stick around. Talkin Hoopz, TalkinHoops.com. NBRPA Miami chapter.
Don't foul out. Talkin Hoopz will be right back. I'm Mark Sanchez with a message for women. This is the actual sound of my heartbeat. I'm sharing my heart to let you know that the symptoms of women's heart attacks can be different from men's. Please learn more. All it takes is a few minutes of your time in return for years of healthy life. That's a deal even my agent couldn't negotiate. Cover your heart. Learn more. CVS cares.
The new free CBS radio app streams your favorite CBS radio stations, as well as all your favorite AOL and Yahoo music stations directly to your iPhone, iPod Touch, and BlackBerry Bold. With 30 genres of professionally programmed stations at your fingertips, you can hear whatever you want, whenever you want. Stations like K-Rock, 1010 Winds, WFAN, AMP, and over 600 others. Now you can easily take your favorite stations with you on the go. The CBS radio app is everything you wanted from streaming radio and a whole lot more. Go to cbsradio.com/mobile to download your app today.
This is AJ, and you're checking out Talkin Hoops, where you can hear the true legends of basketball. If you missed any of the action from today's show, you can find the full episode on TalkinHoops.com or YouTube.com/TalkinHoops. And don't forget to follow @TalkinHoops on Twitter and give us a like on Facebook for all the latest around the league.
Sassy!
This week's episode, Bobcat in the Cave.
Gosh, Johnny, playing in the cave sure is neat. Oh boy, a kitty cat. Sassy, the kitty cat's yelling. What, Sassy? It's not a kitty, it's a bobcat? Speaking of cats, you'd like to stress the importance of adopting cats from animal shelters? Over 5 million cats go into animal shelters every year? And with millions of healthy cats to choose from, it's a shame more people don't adopt from shelters? This bobcat, Debbie. Help, Sassy! Why bother? We'll just get into more trouble tomorrow? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nuts.
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
My dream is to become a mechanical engineer.
My dream is to be a ballerina.
My dream is to be a veterinarian.
I want to be a chef, truck driver, a teacher,
A shoe designer.
Professional skateboarder.
But right now,
I'm just a kid.
just a kid.
I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid ready to be adopted.
ready to be adopted.
I'm just a kid ready to be adopted. For the facts about adopting a child from a foster parent, contact the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
Hey guys, this is AJ. Want to talk more hoops? Bring the show in overtime. Check out TalkinHoops.com. Catch you on the rebound.
Welcome back to Talkin Hoops.
About 15 players in the team, 14 get along.
Now here's a guy who likes to dunk on his 8.5-foot ring. Take it away, AJ.
And we're back talking hoops. TalkinHoops.com, NBRPA Miami chapter, NBRPAMiami.com. Check them out. But Kyle, lot of great games on the schedule. Let's talk a little bit about the Christmas game. How about the Christmas games?
Yeah, Christmas games, they're always the most exciting in my opinion because you got like 5 or 6 ridiculous matchups, like dream matchups that go on that day, and it's like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And they're all on, stations you can watch, ESPN, ABC,
Right.
TNT, they're all mixed up. But you got the Bulls and the Nets leading it off at noon, Thunder at Knicks at 2:30, Heat Lakers at 5, Rockets Spurs at 8, and then Clippers Warriors to sort of round things out at 10:30.
Yeah.
Which of those games? Well, to me, Thunder Knicks sounds like the most appealing. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I agree, but I'm a Knicks fan, so that's what it's that's what it's always gonna come down to for us. But actually, no. You know what though? All kidding aside, I think that's just a powerhouse matchup. I think the Knicks and Thunder. Very similar teams at this point. The way they run up and down, they both got 2 guys in Carmelo Anthony, Kevin Durant. Very similar players. Both pretty much just score at will and do whatever it is to get the ball in the hoop. And they usually go right at each other. So, I think I think that's really the matchup I'd want to see out of those games.
And that was the matchup between Melo and Durant down the stretch for the scoring title, right? Last year.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
They were battling back and forth all season, and then Melo went on that ridiculous tear.
Right.
Where he kept putting up 30 points, 8 straight games or something like that.
Right.
Melo just could not score under 30, and he took the lead over Durant and then never relinquished it.
It's funny because Jeremy Lin, when he was on the Knicks, the Linsanity thing was huge. Every game people just wanted to watch what was going on with Jeremy Lin. And now it's like Melo starts dropping over 30 points a game every single night, and he's shooting a high percentage. And everyone was just excited to see that happen. And I was just glad that was able to go on as a Knicks fan because I felt the Jeremy Lin thing that was just kind of taken away from us. Melo kind of brought, not obviously Jeremy Lin, but he brought that same excitement back where you just wanted to watch the Knicks because you wanted to know how much he was going to drop that night. So,
yeah, he had 7 straight games. I mean, look at this. 50 versus Miami.
Yeah.
Goes off for 40, 41, 36, 36, 36, 31.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. He really is.
That really solidified him to take the scoring crown.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that was definitely helpful for him, and that, to me, is the most exciting game. And I think they could have maybe done a little bit better job. Maybe the Nets and the Celtics could have been a good Christmas game because the whole Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett maybe returning to Boston.
Yeah.
That could have been a really good game. They could have spiced that up. The Lakers and the Rockets, that could have been another good game.
I don't get it. Who did the scheduling? Who did this?
The Rockets and the Spurs, that's a cool game. I guess, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like the Battle of Texas. You got Houston and San Antonio.
Right, especially now that Houston's got Dwight. You got to remember the Spurs eliminated the Lakers in the playoffs. Right against Dwight Howard, I think that's just going to be fun to watch Houston and Spurs. That's a good matchup. But, I don't know, man. Just, who the hell did the scheduling this year? That's what I want to know.
Clippers-Warriors is a good game. Clippers-Warriors is going to be a very good game. Those are 2 young teams. I actually think the Clippers... Here's my prediction for the Clippers.
Okay.
I think that they're the best team in the West.
Yeah,
And
I'll
I
agree
think
with that.
Chris Paul takes the MVP this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He is surrounded with so much talent that there's a good chance that he may average 18 and 12 this year.
Well, as long as he stays healthy.
You got Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, J.J. Redick, Jared Dudley, Jamal Crawford. It's just all scoring. It's all scoring. You're going to have to put up 110 to beat these guys.
Yeah. And you know what? Even if if things don't necessarily work out, they still got some pieces to trade, to move. They got enough insurance, to back up Chris Paul when he's not playing in the game. They got Darren Collison, who, something. Actually, we talk about Darren Collison reuniting with Chris Paul. I mean, that's just big by itself. But the Clippers, they're just a great team. And Chris Paul was in an interview recently and said that Blake Griffin is the key to all this. So I'm hoping he has a real pumped up season, and he's not the same player that we've been seeing the last 2 years. I hope he's got to take the next step. I think it's time. He's, in my opinion, he's a little overrated. I think he needs to really
Chris
step
Paul
it up.
is overrated?
No, Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin, I'm sorry.
Blake Griffin. Yeah.
I was saying, are you mad, man?
No.
I think he needs a jump shot. You know, if you're a power forward in the league, you should have a jump shot.
Yeah, and you had the whole
yeah.
summer to work on it, so I don't want any excuses. All right? If David Lee could develop a jump shot, then Blake Griffin could develop a jump shot. Okay? It's the way it is.
Look, the top power forwards in the league, they can shoot. You know,
Yeah.
David Lee, you mentioned him, he could shoot. Amari Stoudemire, when he was in his prime and before he got derailed by injuries,
Yeah.
he had that elbow jump shot. Pau Gasol, before they made him a center, you know, and now he's probably going to play some center again with Dwight Howard gone. He has a jump shot.
Yeah.
The best power forwards in the league, they have a jump shot. Zach Randolph, he has a jump shot.
Uh-huh.
You got to be able to shoot. You're not going to be able to be successful over a long period of time by just going to the basket, because at some point that part of your game is going to leave you.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get to the rim as easily as you were when you were in your, you know, the early stages of your career.
Right.
So he needs to develop that. But this team is so good that if he can only do that for this season,
Right.
it's not going to hurt them. You know, let's not forget Byron Mullins. They added him.
Right.
That's an underrated signing right there. Willie Green is on the team. They bring back Matt Barnes.
I think very underrated signing. You know, players like Byron that come from a team like the Bobcats, they come to a completely different culture now. So, you know, not that the Clippers have the most winning, you know, record in the last couple of years, but overall, they're a pretty good team. You know, they still get 50-something wins in the season. There's a lot of talent. I don't think, you know, a guy like him has been used to playing with this much talent before. You know,
I just think that they're going to be the best team in the West when you consider
I
all the
agree.
talent that they have. And then Doc Rivers. You cannot forget about Doc Rivers coming to the party.
Yeah. That's the biggest piece of all. That's the biggest piece of this whole thing.
He's going to bring a different mindset, a different mentality, a championship culture. Now that, you know, he's won in Boston, he's got all of that in his repertoire, and he's going to bring that. And Chris Paul, MVP, babe.
Yeah.
Mark my words. I said it right here. Chris Paul, MVP, 2013-14 season.
Now, if the Clippers are your first pick, who do you see behind them?
The Thunder. As long as they're healthy, the Thunder are the best team, because Westbrook. There's no better combo in the West than Westbrook and Durant. I don't care who you got. I don't care about Harden and Howard. I don't care about what other duo is on any other team. Kobe and Powell, I don't care.
Yeah.
That is the second best team as long as they're healthy. Westbrook and Durant can carry a team, and they should be the number 2 seed. And I think the Spurs fall because they're just I think they're too old, man. I really do. Ginobili is not the same player. Tim Duncan, he had a great year last year, but now you add another year onto his career.
Right.
I don't know. They lost Gary Neal. Can't forget about that.
Yep.
I don't know, man. They're going to need a big contribution from Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green if they want to stay atop the Western Conference. Those two guys are going to really have to step up and take the reins here for this team going forward.
You know, let's go back to the Thunder for a second. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder because, you know, obviously what Russell Westbrook was injured in the playoffs last year. He went down, and, you know, it just wasn't the same team. But they have a good nucleus with Ibaka, Durant, and Westbrook, okay? But they lose Kevin Martin. Their replacement for him turns out to be Ryan Gomes. So when was the last time he was in the NBA? Like two seasons ago, whatever it was. This guy obviously not as good as Kevin Martin, not nearly as good as James Harden, not even close. But I think if the Thunder are, you know, they're having a good season, but they're not there come playoff time, like, you know, they got to do something. I wouldn't be surprised if Perkins finally gets moved at the trade deadline. I know he's got
Kendrick Perkins.
Well, I know it's going to be tough. I know, you know, maybe they pair some young talent with him in that deal. You know, young guy like Perry Jones who doesn't seem to play. Maybe another team sees potential in that, and he doesn't have a lot of money in his contract to just throw that in with Kendrick Perkins. But you never know. Teams that are serious about going into the playoffs come playoff time, Kendrick Perkins is a great piece to have, a great center. But for OKC, I'm starting to think they need more. They need more. You know, you may lose Kendrick Perkins, but I think you can substitute things for him. I think certain guys could get more playing time. You know, as much as I'm not a huge Nick Collison fan, but he could certainly play a little bit more, you know, than what he's playing now.
Kendrick Perkins, that was a really bad deal that they gave to him. He's making $8 million this year and $9 million next year.
Bad.
Nobody's taking that. Nobody's taking on $17 million for 2 years for Kendrick Perkins. I mean, he was so bad during the playoffs last year that I think the Thunder would have been better off playing 5-on-4.
Yeah.
He was really unproductive, and he really didn't do much. And ever since coming to Oklahoma City, I haven't liked his game. When he was on Boston, I don't know if it was Doc Rivers.
No, it was Kevin Garnett. That's what it was. Okay?
It might have been Kevin Garnett. You know, I don't know what it was, but he's not that player for Oklahoma City, and he's had a few injuries now. The injuries are starting to add up. I think he had surgery last summer. He's had surgery this summer.
Yeah.
But you can't underestimate Durant and Westbrook. I mean, these guys can both go off for 35 in the same game each.
Right.
You know, and put up 70 between the two.
And I know Westbrook doesn't have always the best shot selection, but I got news for you. He's still an unbelievable player. He's still an unbelievable player. I'll say it again. He really is. And the fact that you can have Durant and Westbrook on the floor at the you got to like your chances. Every single time that they're on the floor together, you gotta like your chances. Even if Westbrook shoots like 30-something%, you got Kevin Durant who's still shooting a high percentage no matter what. You know, it's still going to be a close game. I don't see any blowout coming for this team unless one of them doesn't play.
What's the scarier scenario? Kevin Durant, who can pass and see the court like LeBron James,
right?
Or LeBron James, who has a field goal percentage like Kevin Durant?
Oof.
A shooting percentage. What's a scarier scenario? LeBron James with Durant's jump shot, or Durant with LeBron's vision?
That's crazy. I don't even think that's is that even possible? Can we even? I know we're trying to imagine this, but is this realistic here? Like,
just saying, you know, like imagine LeBron with Durant's shooting. Like if LeBron were to take that step in terms of his 3-point shot.
I think LeBron is probably scarier if he has Durant shooting, because that's really his one weakness. So if LeBron has Durant shooting, then, I mean, this guy's the greatest player of all time, hands down. He wins every championship.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw his shot in Game 7, how clutch he was. Imagine he was like that every single game. Every single game. They wouldn't have lost any game.
Yeah. He's already unguardable now.
They wouldn't have lost any game.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely the scarier option. Anything adding to LeBron is scary. LeBron right now is scary. Anything added to him, forget it. You might as well just pass out.
If you had LeBron, and this is why I think this is the year that Mario Chalmers steps up, because he just needs to, because that Miami Heat team, they need another guy now that Ray Allen is older. Mike Miller is off the team. Rashard Lewis is a non-contributor.
Yeah.
You look at that team outside of the big three. Who is going? Who's going to be the other guy? We saw.
Oh, Kyle broke up. Some technical difficulties. We'll get Kyle back. Oh,
you hear me now?
Yep, we hear Kyle. We got Kyle back. We're good to go.
All right.
Technical difficulties. You know how that goes. You know what it is? You pumped up LeBron so much that we're feeling everything you just pumped up over the internet streams. That's what's happening right now.
You can't talk about LeBron too much because it overheats everything. Everything gets overheated. No, but I was saying, you looked in the finals and the big three weren't enough. Chris Bosh, in that last game, I think he had 0 points.
Yeah.
Right? The guy didn't score one basket.
Right.
But you had Shane Battier be that guy. You saw Mike Miller be that guy step up.
Yeah.
But now these guys are older. Mike Miller's not even on the team anymore.
Yeah.
He's going to be that guy. And I think this is Chalmers' year. I really think that Chalmers is the guy who's going to step up and take another step in his career.
Mark Strickland agrees with you. You know, Mark always says that. Super Mario.
Super Mario, babe.
Yeah. Super Mario.
So the Heat, so they're the best. You know, in the West, you got, I think, the Thunder at 2. And I'm really excited about the Denver Nuggets team.
You're excited. We're excited about everybody, except for the Lakers. We're excited about every team this season. The bad teams that are actually looking like they're going to be pretty good, and the only team we're just not hyped about is the Lakers. And I think, when your GM comes out and says we're just going to be as competitive as possible, and you're talking about a legendary franchise here, a team that is not used to anything like this, it's just, who cares? Who cares?
I'll tell you the teams that I'm really not interested in.
Okay.
The Lakers are one of them. I'm kind of over that. I love Kobe Bryant, but I'm just over the Lakers scene. It's old and it's tired. They didn't do anything to improve their team significantly. They only lost somebody. I'm not excited about them. I'm definitely not excited about the Bobcats. There is nothing to be excited about in Charlotte. I'm sorry.
Al
You're gonna be
Jefferson.
the worst team in the Eastern Conference. You're probably going to be the worst team in the league again. There just isn't anything happening there. Phoenix. I know that they have Eric Bledsoe now. Not excited about Phoenix. I'm not excited about Sacramento. I don't think that Ben McLemore, I like Ben McLemore. I'm a Ben McLemore fan.
Yeah.
Jason Thompson's a great player. I just don't think Sacramento's going to do anything. There are teams that I'm definitely not looking forward to.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks, that's another team. I don't care. I can't see myself sitting down and saying, yo, I definitely want to watch this Mavericks game.
I think, I agree with you, but I think the Mavericks are they're not going to be as. I'm more interested in watching the Mavericks, I think, than all those teams that you named. I want to see DeJuan Blair, right? DeJuan Blair? Yeah. I want to see him get some playing time in Dallas. I really do. I think that guy's got a lot of potential. And, it's a shame of what happened in San Antonio. He really didn't see any playing time. Fell out of the rotation completely. Kind of just was thrown in there when they just needed a body. I think that guy's got a lot of potential. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing him hopefully get some more opportunities in Dallas. But other than that, yeah, I agree with you. I think Dallas struck out big time. And, look, Dirk could come back healthy. You got to remember, Dirk was kind of injured last season. Not the same player last year. I like to think he's going to be a little more exciting. They did sign Monte Ellis. So, bringing in Monte Ellis, that should help them a little bit. Other than that, though, yeah, I don't see Dallas making too much noise. Jay Crowder's down 15 pounds. He followed through his assignment. I think he's going to have a solid year. But what else can you get hyped about with Dallas? It's about it.
Dirk, he's in the final year of his contract. Does he sign a 2-year deal after this extension? Right. Mark Cuban has said he has no intention of trading Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
Only got 1 year left. Who knows what happens there? Monte Ellis they brought in. Jose Calderon they brought in. Sammy Dalembert they brought in. They brought in some guys, but it's just not, I don't know, I'm just not excited. And DeJuan Blair, you mentioned him. He's a good player. He's got no ACLs in his knees. Right. He has no ACL ligaments in his knees, both of them.
Yeah.
He's playing with no ACLs, basically. So there's only so much. He's defying the odds right now, but I think his ceiling has been reached, and he's not going to exceed that ceiling.
I don't know. I think he's going to get a little bit better if he gets some more minutes. He thinks he certainly can. He was he's one of the players himself, I think, really upset when he fell out of the rotation, didn't really understand why. Did have a solid rookie season.
He's got
with the
no
Spurs.
ACL in his knees.
I understand, but that doesn't seem to stop his confidence. He's really excited about coming to the Mavericks. He said all over his Twitter account, I think it's a new start for him. I really, look, this guy's not going to be Tim Duncan. I'm not saying he's going to be a top power forward, but I see him being a solid contributor. I really do, and I wouldn't be surprised if, he makes a couple starts at center this season with, them having Sammy Dalembert as their starting center. I don't know how long that's going to last. Dalembert's up there in age. He didn't play that much for Milwaukee either. So now you're putting this guy as your starting center. If Blair's healthy, I'm sure he's going to be played.
He definitely will. I mean, he's never going to be fully healthy. He doesn't have any ACL in his knee. He's as healthy as he's going to be.
Right.
And
say the same thing about him. Amari's got massive knee problems, but look, we all know how good he is when he is healthy. So I think DeJuan Blair. I don't think people saw what he's actually capable of doing. He never got a real shot in San Antonio. So I'm just curious. I'm really excited. I'm excited for him. I wouldn't say I'm excited for Dallas, but I'm excited for him for sure.
Well, all right. Well, there are still some guys though available, right? There's Sebastian Telfair, Mo Williams, Al Harrington, Bino Udrih. Where are these guys going to go? The Knicks are in talks with Bobby Brown. They've been in talks with Sebastian Telfair.
Udrih.
They've been rumored to be trying to get Bino to accept the veteran minimum.
Which would be incredible. Knicks fans listening, we want Bino.
Yeah, I mean, to have him as a backup point guard, this guy is one of the more underrated point guards in the league for sure.
Yeah.
But all these guys are still available. If Mo Williams, look, there's a slight chance that he goes to Miami for the vet minimum because we know that he and LeBron used to be teammates in the Cavs. They're friends. That would be crazy. If Mo Williams went to the Heat, it just wouldn't be fair to the rest of the league.
No. Well, but at the same time, look, I know it's unfair, but they did get rid of Mike Miller. So now they bring in Mo Williams. That's pretty much what they're replacing Mike Miller with. So it's not really taking away or you know what I mean? It's not really them losing anything. It's them just replacing something that they lost.
True, but you got to remember, Mike Miller, he's like always injured. His back is always acting up, so they didn't have him for a lot. Mo Williams is a healthy guy.
Yeah.
Mo Williams is a young guy.
He had that great, I forget what team they played. He had a great buzzer beater shot this year when he played for the Jazz. I forget what team that was, but it was a great shot. I remember watching it. It might have been Golden State, but I'm not 100% sure, but it was.
Mo Williams, man, he's
great shot.
Good. He's really good, and he's healthy. I think he came in the same draft class as LeBron, also.
He might have.
And I think Sebastian Telfair would be a good fit for the Knicks. I mean, he's a New York guy. When Marbury came, it was a big deal. Now, granted, he's not the same caliber player as Marbury is.
Right. And for anybody who doesn't know, Sebastian Telfair is Stephon Marbury's cousin.
Right.
So for anybody that doesn't know, just so you know, he is related to Stephon Marbury.
And Brooklyn native. Yeah. And he went to Lincoln High School in Brooklyn. So he's got all those New York roots. He has a house like 30 minutes from the Garden.
Yeah.
So the reasons why he's joined the Knicks are there. He just seems reluctant. And there's a lot of teams that can only offer the vet minimum. So these guys may be deciding on what vet minimum they're going to take. Although the Grizzlies are in on Mo Williams also, so Mo Williams could end up in the Grizzlies. But there are still some very good, talented players available.
Look, Al Harrington cleared waivers. I'm wondering where he's really going to go. I don't know what teams would be interested in him right now. I haven't heard any news. I haven't seen any news. But, I mean, this guy can flat out score. I don't care how old he is. He knows how to put the ball in the hoop. That's one thing. And you know what? He's not the greatest defender. He's just a good bench player. To have him on your bench where he started his career in Indiana on the bench, I mean, just to have that guy, if he's healthy, he could definitely contribute. Will he be LeBron James? No. Will he be like he's not in his prime? No, he's not in his prime. But he could definitely score. He could definitely help a team. Definitely.
Yeah, he just, he's got to get over his injury problems. That's been his Achilles heel for the last few years of his career. Yeah. And that's going to be something that a team, whoever wants to take a chance on Harrington, they're going to have to watch his minutes, especially early on, to make sure that he's good to go.
Right. Now, these guys won't accept the vet minimum. What do you think they're worth here? What are we talking? Let's start with Bino. What is he actually worth, in your opinion?
I think he should get something like $3 million a year. If I had money, I would maybe give him a 2-year deal for $3 million each. Give him $6 million total.
Okay. Mo Williams, same thing we're looking at, pretty much.
What's that?
Mo Williams, pretty much the same thing, probably.
Mo Williams, yeah, I'm actually a Mo Williams fan, so I would give him a 3-year deal, maybe.
Okay.
And maybe make that 3rd year a team option.
Mo, I'm a fan. I'm giving you 3 years, baby.
Yeah. Hey,
it doesn't matter if you're really as good as you are. I'm a fan, so I'm going to give you that extra mil. That's my signing bonus.
You were really good in 2K, so I'm going to give you an extra year.
Yeah.
I like your ratings in 2K. I think if I was a GM, what I would do is I would look at 2K's ratings and just try and be like, all right, let's get this guy.
Listen,
this guy has a 90 shot. We need
Mo,
that.
You won my fantasy playoffs for me in the finals. You hit that shot. I don't know if you could do it in real life, but I'm going to give you the 3 years, all right? I'm a fan.
I'm going to give you the I'd build a team in 2K, and then I'd try and translate that over to the NBA.
Right. It's kind of what Isaiah Thomas did when he was the GM of the Knicks.
That is exactly what Isaiah Thomas did.
That's exactly what he did.
He completely treated it like 2K. He was like, oh, Steve Francis? Yeah, you were good like 3 years ago, but you know what?
Oh, and his contract? And his contract, it's huge, but I'll trade nobodies for him, and let's see if that pans out. Panned out real well.
I'll take this guy's big name, I'll take this big name, and I'll take that big name. And I'm just going to throw them all on the team together, and we're going to see what happens.
And you know what? It's funny. Look, even though he did that, he took these players that were really out of their prime. I got news for you. Not necessarily affecting the cap, but the Knicks still do that. It hasn't stopped. They took Baron Davis. What, on a minimum year deal, whatever it was? It's not like he had a big contract or anything when he signed. They took Mike Bibby a couple years back on a minimum deal.
There's a difference. See, their money wasn't like the money that these other guys
Right,
get.
no, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Back then, the Knicks were taking these guys, but they weren't taking them at veteran minimum deals. They were taking them during their big, last years of their deals and stuff. It was terrible.
McGrady?
So, it was terrible.
McGrady, the same thing, but I think McGrady was after Isaiah. I'm not exactly sure when the McGrady deal went down. If that was during Isaiah's era or not.
Yeah.
That's another
that wasn't.
That
That was not during the Isaiah Thomas.
That was
era.
after. Okay.
That was a Donnie Walsh era. Yeah.
That was Donnie Walsh.
And you know what? That first game against the Thunder, he looked pretty exciting. I gotta say, he did. he looked pretty exciting. And then all of a sudden it was gone. That was it. But that first game against the Thunder, he had like 27, 29 points, something like that.
Well, thanks to Grady for that game.
Yeah, T-Mac, hopefully we'll see you back. If not, who knows where you'll be. Maybe in China, maybe retired. But NBRPA's Miami chapter, that's the National Basketball Retired Players Association, NBRPAMiami.com. Check them out. Great show. Special thanks to Harold Ellis, Director of Player Development for the Orlando Magic. A lot of fun having you on the show. And, hey, Mario Chalmers next week. Looks like a lock. So catch that. We'll have more information on the website tomorrow. But for AJ and Kyle, catch you on the rebound.
Until Talkin Hoops comes back into play, stay connected by getting at us on iTunes. Keep up to date with all the latest basketball news and rumors and check out all our shows by logging on to TalkinHoops.com.
Catch you on the rebound.